Hello Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome back to another standard gameplay video, and today we are teaching our opponent a lesson. Yes, in the new Avatar The Last Airbender set, one of the main mechanics is lesson, which we've only seen once before in Magic, and that was when we went to Strixhaven. For those who don't know, back in Strixhaven they introduced the lesson mechanic, and the idea of Strixhaven's a Harry Potter inspired set, and basically they were not particularly efficient cards, but the other cards had learn, and if you learned, you could fetch a lesson from your sideboard, even in best of one. So essentially tacking on learn to creatures, like there's a creature Eye Twitch, 1 mana 1 with flying. When it dies you learn, so blocking with it or getting some sacrifice energy and then getting a lesson from your sideboard, just really good value. In Avatar there is no learn mechanic, so they are just lessons. So instant and sorceries have been marked as lessons, and there is a lot of synergy, mainly from having lessons in the graveyard. So this is a completely new deck, apart from Eddie Merc-Crab, which we have seen before. But let's quickly go through them. So in the one drop, we have Boomerang Basics. It's a sorcery, and we return target non-land permanent to his owner's hand. If we control that permanent, we do draw a card. And obviously, all instant sorceries in this deck are lessons, so I'm not going to point them all out. Then we have Firebending Lesson. 1 mana, also has Kicker for 4, and it is an instant. Firebending Lesson deals 2 damage to target creature. If a spell is kicked, it deals 5 damage to that creature instead. So pretty similar to Burst Lightning, but it obviously is a lesson, and it can't go face. And then we have Gran-Gran, a 1 mana 1/2. And it says whenever Gran-Gran becomes tapped, we draw a card, then discard a card. And non-creature spells we cast cost 1 less to cast as long as there are 3 or more lesson cards in our graveyard. So obviously Gran-Gran can help put lesson in our graveyard by discarding it, or we can obviously discard duplicates of Gran-Gran because she's legendary or unwanted lands. And when we do get those 3 lessons in the graveyard, it reduces all of our non-creature spells, which is a lot of our deck. Now into the 2-drop slot, and we do have the best card in the deck, Accumulated Wisdom. So this is a 2 mana instant. It says look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of those cards into your hand, and the rest in the bottom of the library in random order. However, if we have 3 or more lessons in our graveyard, we draw 3 cards instead. So 2 mana, draw 3 instant speeds, very, very good. But obviously if we have Gran-Gran on the battlefield, that reduces the cost. So that turns into a 1 mana, draw 3 at instant speed, which is essentially Ancestral Recall. One of the power 9, currently goes for I think about 15 grand from Alpha, completely on busted, printed back when they didn't know how powerful card draw was. So having this in standard is quite funny and uncommon and not particularly hard to do. We then have 4 copies of Combustion Technique, another instant, deals 2 damage plus the number of lesson cards in our graveyard, and it exiles a creature instead. So this could easily be doing up to 10 at instant speed. Then we got 2 copies of Iroh's Demonstration. I mean, Iroh is one of the firebenders from Avatar. As I said, I've never watched Avatar, so I'm not entirely sure. 2 mana is a sorcery speed. We choose one. It deals 1 damage to each creature opponent controls, or we can deal 4 damage to target creature. So good single target removal, and it can wipe the board of lots of little creatures as well. Sorry, our opponent's board. Then 4 copies of Abandoned Attachments. Instant, discard a card, draw a card. Pretty simple, but pretty good. And then 2 copies of Soccer, Bold Boomeranger, a 2 mana 1/1. When it enters, we can discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. So again, a great way to get rid of unwanted lands, or maybe if you want to chuck some lessons in a graveyard. It says whenever we cast an artifact or a lesser spell, we put a +1/+1 counter on Soccer. Don't have any artifacts, but we have a lot of instants, so this can get quite big, but it doesn't have any evasion or any protection. And from what I understand, I think that is Soccer on a Boomerang Basics, maybe. I think he chucks boomerangs. Then only 1 card in the 3-drop slot. Dragonfly Swarm, 3 mana star 3, Flying Ward 1, so a bit harder to remove. And its power is equal to the number of non-creature, non-land cards in our graveyard. And when this creature dies, if there's a lesson card in our graveyard, we draw a card. And there's probably going to be a lesson card in our graveyard. So attacking on a card draw to when a creature dies is pretty good. Especially as it costs them 1 more to remove, and we draw a card to good value. Then only 1 card in the 5-drop slot. Ran and Shaw, a 5 mana 4/4 flying Firebending 2. Firebending means when you attack with the creature, you add that amount of red mana, and it lasts until combat. So a great way to spend instants with that mana. And it says, when it enters, if you cast them and there are 3 or more dragon and or lesson cards in a graveyard, we create a token that's a copy of Ran and Shore, except it's not legendary. And obviously, a lot of lessons and also a Dragonfly Swarm is a dragon. So getting that is not particularly difficult, although we only have 1 copy of Ran and Shore, so we're not guaranteed to draw it. But then if we have 2 of them, they're 4/4s in the air, attacking with Firebending 2 each. We're going to add 4 mana, red mana, and then they do have pay for dragons we control get +2/+0 to end of turn. So it's likely we can activate that, well, at least once just from the Firebending, but probably twice. And then in the top curve slot, 2 copies of Serpent of the Past, which is a new version of Tolarian Terror and Edinburgh Crab. 7 mana, 6/5. If there are 3 or more lesson cards in our graveyard, we may cast a spell as though it had flash, which we most likely will be, and then it costs 1 less to cast for each non-creature, non-land card in our graveyard. I don't know why Wizards have suddenly gone with, sea serpents and fishy things like crabs get reduced cost from non-creature, non-land cards in our graveyard, but oh well. And there, 4 copies of Edinburgh Crab, which is basically exactly the same, has flash, costs 1 less to cast for each instant and sorcery, not non-creature, non-land. And when it enters, we tap up to 2 target creatures. It also does end a tap if it's not a turn, so we can't ambush block. You could go Tolarian Terror. It does have ward, making it a bit harder to remove. But I like the ETB trigger from Edinburgh Crab. And obviously, you can pick it back up technically with Boomerang Basics if you want to draw a card and then rebuy the ETB as well. You can also do that in Ran and Shore to rebuy the ETB as well. So mana base is... because we've got a lot of 1-drops and low drops, I have gone minimal on tap lands. Only 2 Spire Bluff Canals, 4 River Pyre Verges. Probably would go a few more dual lands and probably shift more islands, because we do have things that cost double island and only 1 thing that costs double red, although we do have another lot of red as well. But only 22 lands. With our card draw, we're always going to get into land. So this is a really, really synergistic deck. And yeah, having basically Ancestral Recall in Standard is just absolutely bonkers. Better than... well, it's one of those things, a bit like Consult for Star Charts, where before under 3 mana, it is definitely worse than Stock Up, and at 3 mana, it's worse than Stock Up, but it does grow as well. This, if you place for 2 on turn 2, chances are, you're not going to be drawing 3, but in the late game, even when it's 2 draw 3 at instant speed, it's definitely going to be better than Stock Up, and when it's 1 draw 3, it's absolutely bonkers. So really, really fun deck, and one that isn't really going to be able to carry on going forward unless they just have source lessons as part of their thing going forward, but I don't think they will. So, a lot of these cards aren't going to get a lot of value post Avatar, unless, you play historic or timeless formats where you can use old lesson cards. Maybe have a look at that. But really, really fun deck, really, really synergistic, and really, really powerful. So hope you enjoy it. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe. I'll give a shout out to my patrons, the Arcadius, Michal, Thomas, and Adrian. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you everyone else for your support, and I'll see you all in my gameplay. Well, we go first. I hope they give us stuff that we can bounce. Is only non-land permanent. We can bounce that. Allies is obviously a very, very powerful deck. I think I pitch you 2. And we bounce you. Hey, what do you do? Oh. Yes, you have allies. Wow, that's irritating. Since we only have 1. One red. Oh, okay. We haven't hit a land drop yet, so let's draw 3. And let's get a Gran-Gran down. I wonder why they didn't protect it. There's an Earth and Ally. That might be why. It's got vigilance, so it may as well. All right, well, I think we hold up Eddie Merc Crab. I need more removal. Oh, that's annoying. Who plays Fell? We'll tap down you, and why don't so many things have vigilance? Well, Pitchy Island. We'll just take out the protector. We'll hit him with the crab. And we do have another crab. That's probably game over. What the hell? Well, that is an instant. How do they block? They do not block. They're down to 6. What do they airbend? Fair enough. So we'll take out the bodyguard. Bend down you and you. Well, tap down, not bend down. Take out you. That's not what we wanted to draw. But they do have to block with the earthen ally. They're up to 3. We won't block. Come on, draw. Again, they have to block. They're down to 2. We have 2 blockers and 4 life. They get another draw. But obviously our swarm is lethal and it has walled 1. We block like that. That doesn't do it, I don't think. We can even draw all lands. It doesn't matter. We have a 9/3 flyer and you have 6 life. There we go. Got there in the end. That was close. We go first. Could do some more lands. But we have a Gran-Gran. They have a Spyglass Siren. Let's pitch a Helmet Crab. What do they have? Let's take out the Siren then. Wow, they really want that Siren. Let's pitch. Let's pitch our second Gran-Gran. Obviously, we know they have nowhere to run. What do they use it on though? There's a combustion technique. Well, let's swing in. Pitch another Gran-Gran. Let's take out you now then. Why is that so I've got... Oh, because Dragon-Sire Swarm. Well, let's bounce their other Siren. If we draw land, we can Ran and Shore. The fact that they... yeah, they did that. Oh, we can flash in a Serpent. Kind of regret ditching our all our extra Gran-Grans. Oh, good. Well, they pitched a removal. There's a Preacher. Let's get down a Soccer. And we won't discard anything, but we will kill the Preacher. There's a Saboteur. And a second Saboteur. Well, let's get down 2 Ran Shores. We'll hold back, so we do have Lethal in the air. Have they got the removal? Well, that's not what we wanted. But we still have lethal. Our opponent goes first. When we're up against goblins, well, I think we just take out the Fanatical Firebrand. And we will take out the Needle Head. Well, let's get out a Dragonfly Swarm. They have a burst lightning. Does have walled 1. And we get a draw. Another boomerang basics. Well, let's get down a Gran-Gran. Oh, we could have bounced her to draw a card. Probably should have done that. Have they just run out of they do have another burst lightning. They run out of creatures. Come on. Well, now we've turned on our synergies. So we'll just draw 3. And we'll pass the turn. They have a fish. Well, let's bounce said fish. But yes, obviously, they sack it to draw. But we can flash in an Eddie Merc crab. There's a lackey. I'll take 1. Since we know they have Scorching Shot. Well, let us get down a Dragonfly Swarm. And yeah, we can flash in the Serpent. But what else do they have? It doesn't seem the usual red deck. So we draw a card if they take out the Swarm. Well, there's a soccer. Wow. I think they still have a burst lightning. Well, let's pitch the Spire Bluff Canal. Take out you. Fortunately, we don't have another instant. And at the moment, they're just going to be able to basically create a fish every turn. Let's draw 3. Let's get down another soccer. I'm going to get rid of Iroh's demonstration. Get a blocker out of the way. And we will flash in the crab. And that gives us lethal. The crab does. Yeah, that was an odd game. We go first. Well, if we can get to 3 instant sorceries in a graveyard, the lessons. Play something I can kill, please. What do they have? So they're an earthbending deck. If I play a creature, will combustion technique it, otherwise will abandon attachments and pitch one of the combustion techniques. The cub's pretty powerful. There's no point taking out the tunnel, they'll just get it back as a land. Yet. It's only a 1/1. Well, let's do this and pitch an island. And take out you. Well, let us get down Gran-Gran. And we can do everything at instant speed. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. What are you doing? We do have to take him out now. And we will draw 3. You. Well, I can flash in a crab. Yeah, I think we ditch the swarm for now. if they're able to airbend. Let's see if we can find a removal. Actually, we can take out the Roboroid. And let's swing in. And our opponent scoops because, well, we have been removing a lot of their stuff. We go first. Well, we have some removal. Hopefully, we're up against a deck that we can use it against. And we are. Ally. Goodbye. Oh, another bounce spell. Do they have a Southpaw Voyager? They do. Goodbye. We won't accumulate your wisdom until we do have the 3 lessons in the graveyard. But obviously we're not far away from that. Goodbye. And now we do have 2 draw 3s. Hopefully we can draw into some removal. That's a bit of a problem. Well, I'm going to accumulate wisdom now to see if we can find another removal spell. Well, we do. There we go. Oh, we could have just kicked it. That was really silly of me. But oh well. We're still in a pretty good place. You played those the wrong way round. Well, it doesn't really matter. Well, let's abandon attachments. Pitch the canal. And like we hold up the crab and accumulate wisdom. But I want you to take the Voyager off the battlefield. Let's do this in case we do draw something that can take out the Voyager. Fortunately, we don't. But we have some chunky creatures. And they gain a lot of life. They're going to gain even more. Let's flash in the crab. Tap down you 2. I'm guessing they do have the removal spell. Well, let's get down Gran-Gran. And Let's get down Ran and short. Which doubles up. And we can abandon attachments. There is Ang. You're going to get rid of our token. Yeah, that's annoying. Bouncing around shores, not the best move. Well, hopefully they whiff. They did not whiff. Yep, we know how powerful that deck is.